Before we start the video, I want to invite you guys to look us up at the C10 Nationals May 10th and 11th at Texas Motor Speedway. We're going to have some pretty cool giveaways for subscribers. A couple of weeks ago, we won Summit's Built with Summit competition on social media with our C10, and probably a lot of credit to that carbon fiber intake. The next level that we need to take that engine compartment to is cleaning up those valve covers, because everything else looks pretty nice. Even though there's speed engineering valve covers and speed engineering coils that look super nice, it still is a little busy there with the fuel injector connections and the coil connections. So we figured we had some free money, might as well spend it. These come in black or bare aluminum, and I think with or without the Holley logo. Probably the Corvette guy deep down in me that made me stick with red. Kind of hoping it doesn't clash with the fuel rails. Okay. Oh, baby. By the way, here's the part number. Shoo! I wasn't super stoked about this retro Holley logo because the truck's an 86, and to me this is more of like a 50s, maybe 60s type of font. But you know what? We're gonna send it because it's gloss red. It looks pretty rad. Okay, honestly, it's pretty close-ish. I mean, I know one's more orangey, but maybe down in that engine bay, you'll think I actually spent the money to have them paint matched. All right. Hope these are the same size as the hoses I've already got ran that run off those speed engineering vent tubes. They look a little small. Nice baffling. Oil fill cap on both valve covers. I think these are considered to be stock height. They look a little taller, but not by much. And I think you have to reuse your factory hardware that holds them down to the heads. So I'm gonna have to dig up factory hardware because the speed engineering valve covers we're exchanging these for have longer bolts because they're taller. Yeah, it turns out I still had an old set of valve covers from buying this junkyard 5.3, and I'm just kind of glad I held on to that stuff. Normally I'm Mr. Clean Out, don't like clutter. Honestly, these probably need to be new seals. I'm kind of under the gun to get it put back together because earlier today when I saw that the shipping was going to be early, I went ahead and pulled the valve covers off, and I've got an appointment with the tuner this afternoon. So I don't want to be late. All right, one of the cool things about LS stuff is a lot of these rubberized gaskets are all reusable. And these valve covers are universal left to right, kind of like the cylinder heads. That feels good, like we didn't lose our gasket. Definitely going to change your oil change procedure because you got to pull the top off. You'll have to pull the coils off over these fill locations. So now we'll probably use, I don't know, I doubt we'll use the driver's side because of the master cylinder booster and everything over there is kind of in the way. Probably still just fill it on this side and have to go to the back. Ugh, these bolts are gross, but we're doing things. Some of you may have noticed, is it in the shot? Yeah. We got this plastic 30-degree elbow versus that terrible polished aluminum thing that we kind of had to modify and put a couple of bends in for our air intake when we switched to this Performance Designs carbon fiber intake. It's looking good. I like it. I should point out these accept two types of coils, and if you look at the product description on Holley's website or Summit, it'll show you what it'll fit. On the driver's side of these square bodies, you get these things tucked underneath that brake booster, and then there's another like bracket against the firewall that's where that brake booster mounts. It's like structure for it, and the steering column comes through it below that. I was worried about interference there, so it's kind of nice that they listed from the flange to the top at 3 3/4 inches. It looks like should be fine. It's actually about the same height that the speed engineering valve covers are with those coils on top. The difference between these two spacers is minuscule. 14.61, 14.08. I mean, a half of a millimeter difference between these two spacers packaged up, really? That could make the difference in how much thread we have on these bolts though, so I am gonna run the shorter ones. I've got plenty of distance between the coil and that bolt holding the valve cover down. I'm not really sure why you'd bother packaging up two types of spacers with a half a millimeter difference between the two. All right, get those snugged down and get this wiring harness installed. Let's put it this way. It matters. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure how much headroom there is above these coils for those wires. But I don't want them to be in a bind and cause problems down the road if they were pinched and essentially wore through at one point. Not a good thing to have happen on your electronics. Oh, goodness gracious. I don't know if this is gonna work. I never even thought about looking at the air compressor side of this situation. I think I may have to pull the coils back off and then set it on there and see if it clears. The compressor is probably gonna have to be unbolted and tested. I don't know. Let's take a look. 56 millimeters of standoff about where that compressor is going to be. If we go in here and take a look, oh no, that doesn't look awesome. So here's the part of a project where you just say, hey, this isn't going to work, don't force it, send those parts back, change direction, be sensible. That's not what we do on this channel. So I'm on my way to the tuner now. I just have the covers on there without the coil covers on the valve covers, I guess. I'm gonna let him look at this tune and do any touch-ups if he needs to, and then I'll be back. Somebody drop a comment below with what the replacement to GoPro is these days, because I've about had it with that GoPro Hero 9 Black that was the best of the best a couple of years back. Just files not working or downloading to my computer or doing weird stuff. We did get this cover on. I just removed the compressor, put the cover on, and literally the compressor did bolt back on without making contact. But as you can see here, it was by a very, very narrow margin. And I recognize there's potential for those two things to make contact just because of that small amount of spacing there. They are bolted together and everything, like on the accessory drive, but I understand there could be some flex and it may make contact. As long as it's not making horrible tapping noises, I don't care. So this side's finished. Put the air intake back on. This side is going to require a lot more. I did unbolt the brake master cylinder, and as you can see, I can, well, master cylinder booster assembly. I can pull this off kind of out of the way about like so. I think that I can make that work to get that cover on, but it's gonna make contact here before it'll fit over these coils. So we're gonna have to do some trimming on this factory bracket here. So we've got that cut, and I did a little undercoat work and stuff to clean it up, make it look nice. It's important when you guys are doing this install to run your wires in a way that they're not gonna be chafing that valve cover. Some of these old ones are pretty firm, like I mentioned earlier. They don't really wanna flex very much, so you don't want them to be in a spot where they'll potentially rub through and short out. It's just super important, especially on this side, because you're gonna have to unbolt that brake booster and get it out of the way to remove this cover. So you don't want to be digging in there to try to find a shorted wire. This side's no fun either, removing your air intake tube and the air compressor, but not near as bad as this side. All right, please work. Oh baby, oh baby. I check this again. Yeah, we're good. You don't already have a set of these 6mm. I don't know if that's even 12 point. That looks more, I don't know, I guess it's 12 point. It's just 6mm, so all the points are pretty close together. But you're gonna need that style socket. I have a little kit of these that I needed for some other project. Oh, it was whenever we did these Willwood brake assemblies, I needed these small metric 12 point sockets, so we already had some. All right, torqued, plugged in, installed. See if she fires up. We did it. It took more time than I had hoped. It took a lot more effort than I had hoped. I think it's worth it. I know it's sort of Corvette-y to do like the matching stuff. I'm still sort of on the fence of whether I should have used the black, but they're on there. They look pretty cool. We're going with it. We're not changing it. Hey, thanks to Summit for the 500 bucks. That was pretty cool to allow us to buy something to dress this up a little bit in anticipation of the C10 Nationals in Texas. For me right now, that's like 4 weeks away, I guess. So really stoked about that. Have plenty of time to detail it because, as you guys know, we drive our stuff. So it's got bug guts all over it. We have plenty of detailing ahead of us, which I'm not really good at because I just like driving. So we'll wash it up about best we can, load it on a trailer, I know, and we'll haul it down there. But man, I just don't want the stress of driving something down the highway, going to a show that I've got a ton of money invested in participating, only to have a rock chip hit the windshield or knock the paint off the front of the hood or something like that, which just seems silly since we're so blessed to have a truck like that and a couple of trailers to choose from to haul it. I may have not have said this at the beginning of the video, if anyone's still here watching at this point anyway. This entire build is on this YouTube channel and the playlist will be on the screen right here. So if you're curious about anything that you saw on the truck throughout this video, it was probably covered somewhere, except the fact that they're NVU gauges, which I got from Summit Racing Equipment. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you later.